Now that was an interesting day. Today we're going to take a look at some tickers, TCG ticker requests. We're looking at Pltr, Facebook, AAPL, TSLA, DKNG, TAN, JK, SNIO, BA, SPCE, FSLY, all one big video today. The order is as you see it, so feel free to skip around if you like, but let's get started.
Chartguys.com. Become a confident, effective, and informed trader. Join our community working together to learn the charts, generate profit, and achieve financial independence. Let's check out some charts.
So first of all, I want to talk about Spce. An interesting day today. And what is even more interesting is we've got a beautiful hourly trend that we hung on to by our very tips of our fingertips. If we're hanging over a cliff, this is pretty much what happened. Look at this hourly channel here. We pushed to an extreme level below that. We got deep into hourly oversold. Our RSI was at what? 24? Yes, 24 on the hourly. And we managed to bounce back from it into after hours. So the pattern has held. The bulls have woken a little bit, but it really shook off what we anticipated to be a little bit of consolidation and momentum shifting back to the upside. So a little bit of a scary drop today. Dragged down a lot of names and wrecked a lot of setups, but that's the name of the game. We move on, we make plans, and we adapt. So with that said, let's take a look at some of these names. I'm going to start with Pltr. This one is pretty interesting. 4-hour pattern. We had an overall tightening range. Technically, we're still in a 4-hour equilibrium. We haven't broken over 998, but we have touched right against that level, and it is now a double top. I think it's looking very good for a bull break, especially in light of market weakness today. Should have been watching this one. Knew about it, wasn't watching it, missed out. But a break over 998, we are going to be in really good shape. Next resistance in the 4-hour time frame is going to be 1073. Look at the consolidation that has happened here. Bulls in control right now of Pltr. 15-minute time frame, how does it look? Beautiful 15-minute lows in after hours, and bulls are right back at it, testing that high support or high resistance at 998. So that's what it's all about tomorrow. We're going to be looking for a break over that level on good volume and good upside continuation. If the market holds strong, that's going to be even better. However, if we see a pullback, we have 4-hour support at 940. Anything over top of that's going to be 4-hour higher low, and maybe we'll try again. Facebook, not nearly as clear. So a big change from Pltr's beautiful setup to Facebook's indecisive-ish setup on the daily time frame. We're gapping around quite a bit here, and we're heading into earnings, which are on the 20th. So a few days away. We'll have to see what happens here. But in general, not a lot of clarity on the daily time frame. Overall, we're sloping to the upside, and we're going to fill in the blanks here and just draw what we can't see. Then I'm going to be looking for daily higher lows. That means I'm going to be looking for support down here above 259.88. Why don't we just draw that in? 259.88, and that is what I would need to see on the daily time frame right now. Again, like I said, it's a little choppy. 4-hour time frame has lost 4-hour higher lows. So what we could expect with a strong day tomorrow would be a lower high underneath the high here at 286.90. That's the most likely outcome. When we lose 4-hour support, we still expect a bounce to the upside because we are going to be looking at oversold conditions. We saw oversold in the 5-minute time frame here. Now we're cautiously going back to the upside in a very delicate slope. 5-minute higher lows and higher highs still intact, but really all we expect is going to be that lower high into that daily higher low, and that is what I anticipate for Facebook. I don't see anything, not too much razzle dazzle on Facebook for me today. AAPL also has a nice hourly channel. We bounced off of that again, low of day, not nearly as extended through as we saw on Spce. Let's go back at Spce. Look how far down we went, and we just managed to close inside pattern. Apple didn't have that issue, but we still are at hourly resistance right now. Hourly downtrend is intact, lower highs and lower lows overall. We see the spike to 116.55, but we're concerned about pattern at this point. What we're going to look for is a bull break over pattern and then a bull break above 116.55. That is the most ideal scenario for the bulls at this time. Otherwise, a rejection will see us coming back down to test trend support. And then we've got a little bit of support from today's low day as well at 112.88. Tesla. This is a quintessential chop fest. The good news is we have 406.05 support. We saw a low test on Friday, 407.38, and we're seeing a little bit of strength, which is actually pretty incredible given what the market did itself. So here's a low responding pretty well, maintaining higher hourly lows over 407.38. But if we go to the 4-hour time frame, it looks a little bit better. Still trying to find direction here. We have 4-hour lower highs and lower lows, and what we're doing is waffling at this point. If we break 407.38, we're likely to break 406.05 as well. And at this point on the hourly, a little bit of a tightening range, but not a lot of clarity here either. So we'll have to see what happens. 425.76. And then we've got our lows down here at 410. Really anything could go at this point, trading relatively sideways. I would be looking for a little bit more direction, a little bit more clarity. Break over 425.76 into higher lows. Break of 410, and then I'd be looking for a 406.05 test into continued downside. Tesla has just not given us a lot of direction lately, and that's sort of how it goes. DKNG, the complete opposite. We have a lot of direction, and unfortunately it is to the downside. We've knocked out our 4-hour support, or daily support, at 40.30, and we're not seeing any sort of bounce that you can see on the daily time frame. Daily support, 34.47. Bears are in absolute control. We're hitting close to daily oversold. We're 35.58 on the daily time frame. On the 4-hour, we are setting lower highs and lower lows, so bears still in charge at this point. What we expect is more of the same, an uptick, a lower high under 43.49, and then continued downside. The best thing that could happen for the bulls, believe it or not, would be to continue this 4-hour trend into that daily support. Find a nice, strong, proven, confident level, get a trend change against that level, and see the market carry us, hopefully, back to the upside. The market in general is not doing a lot for DKNG right now, but a positive, strong market and a strong sentiment that will follow an uptick in the QQQ and Spy would only serve to help DKNG at this point, who is really quite beaten down and has been grinding oversold conditions on the 4-hour time frame for a while. Any signs of strength yet? No. I need to see 4-hour lower high, lower low, lower high, higher low, higher high. Probably didn't make a lot of sense to people. I remember trying to learn all this phrasing. What we're looking for is, okay, so our trend has continued doing this, right? So what we're going to look for is a lower high under this level. We're going to look for a lower low under this level. And we're going to look for a lower high under this level, a higher low over this level, and then we break this. And what that does for us is it tells us the trend has changed. If all of this happens above a daily support, it tells us that there is some magical force of nature pushing us to the upside, and maybe, just maybe, we can start a new daily movement to the upside. TAN. TAN is still holding our 26 EMA on the daily time frame. Not a lot of confidence, but holding up relatively well, all things considered. We had a near double bottom, if not a double bottom, at 68.17 today. Let's get our magnets going. 68.17, yes, double bottom. Are we seeing a massive amount of strength following that double bottom? Not yet. So far, it's just a nice little bounce and a nice higher high over 69.50. We still looks like have this resistance from our first initial bounce, 69.75, possible head and shoulders here inverted on the 15-minute time frame. But even if we broke bull, we have a lot of resistance between 71.10 and basically 72. There's a lot of trading that occurred up here on Friday, and we'd have to work through that hourly time frame. We're just looking for a lower high under, well, probably under 71.50. It's a little bit skewed with these numbers, but I think I would go actually with 71.67. Other than that, not a lot of clarity on TAN. Holding up relatively well. Not giving us the bull flight that we want, but we're still looking for daily higher lows. Volume is holding relatively well. And consolidating. RSI is getting back to normal. 4-hour time frame. Yeah, not a lot of clarity there either. So, with that said, let's take a look at JKS, another solar name. In this case, look at this beautiful trend. It's absolutely gorgeous to see that much strength, but we know that when we run up, we run down, and this is the sort of thing that we expect to see. We just have a hard time sometimes pinpointing when that occurs, and if you go back, I'm pretty confident that at least in TAN and JKS likely had hourly trend change, which signified the start of this. I remember doing videos on it. Very possible, and that's what I look for. But on the daily time frame, we are still above EMA 26. We have Friday's low support at 60.56. Little bull volume today, and that's neither good nor bad for the bulls. It just shows us that the confidence isn't really there yet. So on the 4-hour time frame, we asked ourselves, are we trending? Well, we got highs, lower lows, and, well, the makings of an hourly trend change. And the hourly trend change that we were trying to make is similar to TAN. 61.39 is our low. And then we're going to look for is a bull break over this resistance, 66.92. So close to a double top on JKS at 66.92. We got an hourly higher low. Look for a bull break over that, and we have next resistance at 73.60. That's set up a little bit better than the TAN is. However, these are related names, so we can look for signals in one to help the other. I may be wrong, but I believe TAN it's an ETF, but I believe one of the largest holdings is JKS. So what we can do is look at JKS. If JKS breaks bull, then we can look to laggards in the other areas of the solar sector that are going to impact TAN to see a follow through. And we can inversely look at TAN to see if we can get a nice setup and a bull break that may be a leading indicator on a JKS break above 66.92. So just watch those two names and look for some correlation. NIO on the hourly time frame doesn't look as good. We have this hourly trend, and the way we draw that trend, why don't we draw it together? We're looking to connect the tops of our greens, something that fits well like this, and then we just go and grab. And basically, I'm going to grab the lowest point over here on my hourly time frame because I want to be drawing on historical data. And then I go and make sure everything fits inside this level. Suddenly we're outside of pattern. We've bounced back up, and we are now testing that form of support as resistance. And if we zoom in, this starts to look a heck of a lot like a bear flag on the hourly time frame. So if this is indeed a bear flag on the hourly time frame, where are we going to look? We don't have a lot of support on the daily time frame. In fact, the only thing we really have on the daily is the low from October 14th at 23.73. If we go to the hourly, what is the likelihood that we will reach that level? Well, what we can do is go and grab, what's the tool called here? Price range. And I want to measure the first impulse of our flag. And then I got to copy it and say if we broke here, and our highest point on our flag is, say, right underneath our EMA 8. If this is a perfect 50% move point, then we're going to be looking for a phase 3 down into the area of, let's call it $24. So that's right in line with that support. It would be a pretty extreme move, and it would require a lot of bearish pressure. But that is what we anticipate and plan for. Anything else could be a nice surprise for the bulls. Certainly on an hourly bear flag at this point, we can go to the 5-minute time frame to try to draw out what that might look like. And we do a very similar thing where we grab our 5-minute higher highs, and then we try to go in and draw it like this. And in fact, we could probably try to make a case for a little bit of a wedge here, but it's not really working. But go back to our hourly, and I don't like that either. Well, I'm confident in the resistance. Not really happy with the drawing. I'll have to spend some time on that later. Hourly time frame, nonetheless, big wicks both sides, certainly setting up for the psychology play behind, and which is part of the hourly bear flag. If we can get over top of this trend and get back in here and negate this bear flag, bulls have an opportunity to establish higher lows and higher highs again. But at this point, definitely looking bearish. BA, I talk about this one a lot until we are over this nasty cloud of volume and congestion and green acid clouds of bearish power. Not really interested. 4-hour support 158.73. Would not be surprised at all to see lower lows beyond that. I believe earnings are when? 2 days from now. So yeah, not interested in BA at this point. Until we can get over 170, I'm not interested in a long, and a short position is really to be taken at that level as well. And with earnings coming up, it would be oven mitts, hands off, no touch for me. SPCE daily time frame. We're looking at 2 days in a row of big downside. We're now in the area of very limited support, non-existent support, maybe something on the 4-hour time frame, but the daily low is 1804. We dipped below that today. Let's correct ourselves. Don't have our magnets on. 1810. We dip below that. Next support is 1492. So what we can do is go to the 4-hour time frame and say, do we have much support here? Nope, not on the 4-hour. So we're also looking at 1492 on the 4-hour time frame. An extended channel here broke bear, and then now we are seeing probably an hourly bear flag. No, not a bear flag, but look at that, nice little channel. So we are seeing lower highs and lower lows on the hourly. I would expect us to continue. Look for a test of 1791 tomorrow if we can get over top of our EMA 8, which really seems to be the massive issue right now in the hourly time frame. Close above that, then I'm still going to be looking for a higher low over 1791, and then we have 1924 support. Bear is definitely in control of SPCE on the 4-hour, hourly, daily, and no real support in sight. FSLY daily time frame. Another bear day. We have support at 71.39. So there's that. Magnets again. And let's go to the 4-hour time frame. Okay, so a 4-hour looks interesting. I can see that where the range is tightening up. I doubt we've got a wedge that I could draw very eloquently, but we do have a support. So what we can do is go to the hourly, go to the 15, and start to see and seek out hunting ourselves an hourly trend change above 71.39. If we are going to turn things around in the short term, this is where we're going to do it. If we fail to do that, well, there's quite an abyss below us, and we have relatively limited resistance if we want to turn things around, especially up to 79.80. So what we can do is keep a close eye on the hourly trend change, the 15-minute trend change. Best case scenario from what I can see now, a bull break over 74.67, get ourselves a 15-minute trend change. And then we want to see another higher low over the low of day today. And then we might have ourselves something to work with. That is it for today. If you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know. Love chatting about this stuff and helping you out. There's a phone number on our website. Yeah, I'd actually had a few people call it. So it was kind of cool to meet you guys and chat. Feel free to give it a call. If I'm available, I'll answer. If not, I'll call you back. And thanks a lot. That's it. No, don't bite that. Don't bite me. No. Well, there. You happy? Want a bite too? Yes. Okay. You get another bite? Another bite? Another bite? No, we're good with that now?